Watch this one clip.
I got stuck again?
I don't want to hear a fucking word, okay? I don't want to hear a fucking word. I lagged. Shut up. Okay, so drop spots. So with drop spots, you're gonna look behind you and you're gonna see how many people are left in the dropship and where they're dropping. And you're basically gonna want to land somewhere where nobody is. There's going to be something open, always. In bronze, people tend to gravitate towards the hot areas because it's bronze and it's silver rank where people have egos out of their minds and they just always want to fight because they're in bronze. Who cares, right? So if you want to improve, the thing is learn the game. The longer in the game, the more you're going to practice, the more you're going to start shooting your weapons, the more you're going to just figure everything out, right? So if I had to rank the spots, I would say trials, avoid it. You just avoid it. It's a really amazing drop spot later on, but if you're in bronze and you're actually a bronze player, just avoid it. It's more of a hassle. I don't expect you guys to clear trials in solo in a minute, right? Like some of these players do at the higher tiers. Just land Skyhook. Skyhook has a ton of loot, very spacious, a lot of buildings, a lot of zipline buildings, just a lot of loot. But this can be a hot zone, so I think if you aren't comfortable, don't do it. But if there's a lot of people, don't do it. But if there's one or two teams, or if there's one team, even two teams potentially, you can do one team here, and you just land in the back, right? And you kind of let them fight. Survey camp is one of my favorites because nobody ever really lands there, even in high rank. It's kind of a combination of both of these points. Is you'll see a lot of teams, I don't know if it'll happen in bronze, but a lot of teams will land Epicenter and then split off and go to survey camp, and they'll have these 2 points, which is really nice. Climatizer is insane loot. Very, very, very good. It has a potential chance to be sweaty. A lot of people like to land there as well. I think this is like an S tier spot. So if I had to rank them real quick, this would be like an S tier spot. This would be like a pretty, if you have the combination of the two, it's an S tier spot. We have an S tier spot. Now going downward, Overlook. Overlook is probably one of my favorite places to land. It's not the craziest of loot, but it's usually always open. And this, in Overlook, with a combination of, we call this right here, we call this no name. The reason why we call it no name is no name. Big Maude isn't on the map. Whoops. We'll try to get that after. So I'll open my map in the game and we'll get it. So this is called no name. So with combination of the two, this is actually a really good S tier spot. But if you only get one, it can be difficult. Now, on the flip side to that, this is going to be getting a little bit. Now, this map guide that I'm making is for all ranks. So it's one of those things of, again, it's going to be, I'm trying to rank them as best as possible of how a professional player or a top tier player would loot. Now, on the flip side, if someone lands Overlook and you don't see anybody land no name, what you try to do is a lot of people in no name will take no name and take tunnel, right? So this allows you to kind of take over Geyser's loot and kind of pinch out Geyser a little bit. Now, these two spots would be a very early contest, but I think it's really good if you want to steal it. You just have to be careful of Fragment East, but Fragment East usually has their own battles and their own things they're trying to do. So, again, that combination. Frag West, Frag East, self-explanatory, hot zone, hot, always. If you're not a good player and you see teams land here, don't land here. This is just it's a very thirdable place. If you get into a fight in Frag West, Frag East, the problem isn't necessarily, even if it's one squad on each side, it doesn't matter. The problem is you have every squad in the area. A lot of zones tend to be around this area, or they'll have some rotation through Fragment. And it's such a big POI on the map if you combine the two places that if your fight lasts too long, you get thirded from Epi, you get thirded from Overlook, Geyser moves over, Harvester hears it, Landslide hears it, Skyhook hears it. Everybody just collapses on that spot where it just has a potential of becoming this giant mess. So if you're not skilled enough, that's why I'd say probably avoid it. But it's actually not a bad loot spot if you grab the loot and dip out and go to zone. I think that's a good place. Countdown is one of my favorite places to loot, probably one of the best places on the map. Main reason being, there's a button on this side, there's a button on this side, and it opens up the middle. On every single time this zone happens, doesn't matter if you start the game, in the middle of the platform, there's a 2 blue armors and a purple armor. Always in the middle. Always. If it's a hot spot, if it's a hot drop, I think it's a gold armor and 2 blues now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to recheck on that. But there's always 2 blues and a purple with a potential chance of gold. Amazing drop spot. Not a lot of people go here necessarily. I think this is one of the greatest spots in the game. If it is contested, you kind of have to split it because you'll get thirded very, very easily from the surrounding zones. But I love this spot. Countdown. Love it. Lava Fissure, one of my favorite places as well. I think it has a lot of loot. It's pretty easy to loot. It's very quick to loot. You can choose to kind of spread and kind of grab... Oh, it was Countdown, by the way. You can kind of choose to loot and kind of grab these pills back here. You loot the pills on the outside. It's a lot of work. If you're playing slow, this could work. But if you're trying to move quickly, just loot quickly and move downward. Now, Lava Fish has a potential chance as well, kind of doing what... the word no name will be thrown around multiple times in ranked. We're going to be like, if we're in Lava Fissure and we're like, and let's say the zone is like just this, right? All this is orange. We're going to say, where are they? We're going to say, oh, they're in no name. This is no name as well. So no name with context of where you're positioning is going to be, you know, kind of like the concept here. There's definitely a lot of, you know, a lot of no names that have that, like these certain little call outs. Landslide. Landslide is, it's like you got in trouble and your parents put you in timeout. It is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It is not a good spot. It's not a good spot. It's just not. It's mediocre at best. It has a crafter. You literally go landslide when you have no options. I would avoid this at all costs. A lot of teams have the potential of playing Loba, and what they'll do is they'll play Loba, lane landslide, pop their ult, loot everything, and then keep moving because there is a vault right here. So you can kind of use your Loba ult, get the vault items, and then kind of go from there. But pretty bad. Staging. Staging is pretty good. I like staging loot. I think it makes for early third parties. I think it's a good spot to drop. You have your high ground, your low ground. You can loot no name if Lava Fissure doesn't. You kind of have this contest for it. So these three kind of fight for that no name, kind of the same thing where like Geyser can land no name, Overlook can land no name, and Fragment can land no name. It's kind of like this who's going to take it type of thing. But I think staging is pretty S tier loot. So overall, I think a lot of this loot is not, I wouldn't say like, it's hard to rate them on S tier. I just think they're good spots to land in. Definitely some are better than others, but overall, I would say like S tier, fucking A tier. This has a potential of being S tier, but it's like A tier. This is A tier as well. This is S tier. So, okay, so wait, I got to talk about Harvester. So Harvester is pretty good loot. Not a whole lot of loot, but decent rotations because it is a big chunk of the map where if it ends thermal, you go to thermal. If it ends over here, you just kind of cut right through. Or you can go like through the high ground ways and kind of like you're really jumping on everybody else. Not a lot of people are going to go Harvester. It's usually like one team. So the ability to third party other teams is pretty high when you land Harvester, which is good. So I like it. Lava Siphon. Lava Siphon is insane. It is a F ton of loot. It is everything you could possibly want. We're talking purples, we're talking blues, we're talking attachments, guns, there's pills, there's, you know, you get your crafting materials, like, you know, that you're from all those pills that you're going to loot. You pretty much get everything. Lava Siphon is great, but very, very contested. Hot drop for most. you will be fighting all the time. There is a little no-name village right here as well. But again, Geyser could try to land there. Lava Siphon could split that off. There's lots of different things. Now, with Lava Siphon, it's important to note that you can land here and you can land here. You can split sides. You can choose. You'll start to notice that people are going to be choosing sides and where they land and like, oh, well, take left, or take right, take right. So you kind of have these little third-party things. So now, it doesn't show this, but I'm going to try to show it later. Big Maude, there is a ship right here. That's all that's changed. Lava City is still the same. Big Maude is super, super, super good. It's so good. If you're solo, if it's just you, if there's a team contesting you, it's awful because it's hell on earth. You'll be going up and down and trying to figure everything out, and Lava City will just come in third party because you took too long. So, in Big Maude, you get these 3 crafting materials plus Big Maude weapons. The Big Maude weapons are just pretty much fully gold-kitted weapons. It could be Prowler, it could be R301, it could be a Rampage, it could be a Longbow. On the flip side, they have purple guns that are like a Flatlined. Blue is like the Hemlock. The Wingman, right? They have the Mastiff. They have all these weapons that are, they cost some crafting materials, but they give you enough. You can really outfit yourself with a lot of these weapons. Now, if you land there and you contest a team, it's very, very, very difficult. I would avoid this if you're not that good at the game, or if you're not good at fighting, if you're not good at handling third parties. I would avoid Big Maude at all costs because you will get thirded, 1000%, if there's another team in the area. So just keep that in mind. If you see, flip side, if you see 2 teams land Big Maude, just land Lava City, wait for them to fight, go over, kill them. Easiest KP you've ever gotten in your life. And you get the Big Maude weapons on top of that. So it's kind of like, you know, it's you're playing chess. You're really playing chess when you're playing Apex Legends. It's a lot of the times when you see, there's going to be countless times where I would see, you know, we're flying in and we'll see 2 teams land Lava Siphon on this side. And we're going to land on this side. We're going to wait for them to fight. Third party, kill them, done. Tree. We see 2 teams land tree. I'll land launch site. We'll go ahead and grab loot and launch site. We'll go over to tree. They're fighting. Boom. We third party. Done. Now, that's the way the game is being played right now. To talk about Lava City loot, I like Lava City loot a lot. It's not bad. I think the buildings create for a good place to fight. You can stall out decently enough to where you're going to get a little bit of heals. Somebody's going to have to push somebody, right? That's kind of how it works in Lava City. So if you're not going to fight, don't waste the meds. Don't waste the ammo. Just dip, right? Go through tunnel, go through lava, go to dome, go to somewhere else. Don't fight. Dome. Dome is basically way, way, way off in the corner. It's usually a spot that nobody wants to land in because it's far away from pretty much every zone on this map. A lot of the zones will end on this side. They'll end up here. You're always traveling if you land at Dome. Always. It's just obnoxious. So overall, I think Dome is kind of like decent loot. You get a crafter most times. You get a beacon. It's pretty good. It's whatever. The good thing about Dome, though, is your ability to loot up and immediately third-party somebody. You have options, right? 2 teams land launch site, you go launch site. 2 teams land lava, you go lava. 2 teams land Siphon, a little bit more difficult, you go Siphon. Launch site, I really like launch site. Takes a little bit to loot, but once you loot it, you get a crafter. You have a potential of getting a crafter items, crafter batteries, things like that. And it's a very, very fast rotation to a quick third party, like I was explaining earlier, like Tree. But overall, I would say some like A tier loot, I'd say A, B to A tier loot. A tier loot. Big Maude is A to S, depending on what's in the crafter, or in the Big Maude harvester weapons. Tree is an A tier loot. I think Tree is good because it does have that crafter. I like it, and you can obviously loot Tree and then kind of loot this little building back here. This little compound in the back. Now Thermal, which is probably the last one on the list. Thermal is going to be probably one of the biggest zones. It is huge. It is huge and very, very difficult to loot efficiently if you don't land there over and over and over and over and over again. So Thermal is one of those things where the contest is difficult. Thermal is a pretty contested zone as well. So a lot of these places have the ability to be contested. I don't know if I got sidetracked or whatnot. I feel like I did a little bit, but I feel like I explained overall. I think this map is very well balanced versus Kings Canyon, for instance. Kings Canyon is very all over the place. It's not as balanced is the best way to put it. I would have to say that as of right now, I think this map is probably one of the most balanced in terms of loot. I think the only place that feels botched on loot a lot of the times is going to be Landslide. Landslide and Dome. I would say even Fragment East sometimes feels really bad for me personally every time I land there, but TSM lands there competitively and they do very, very well. So I can't really bash it. I just don't know if something happened. But a lot of the newer points, such as like Climatizer and Big Maude, you know, or not Big Maude, Climatizer and Lava Siphon, they have like tons and tons and tons of loot, which I think is really, really good. I think overall, I think this map is the most balanced. I think you can land absolutely everywhere and make the best of it. To finish off the map guide of how I would drop is just look for what's open. Always in your dropship, look behind you, look where everyone's going to go. And as soon as you see, let's say the dropship starts here. And as soon as you go, boom, somebody drops out of the ship. And like, let's say 2 people drop out of the ship, right? One goes here, drop thermal, right? Immediately drop thermal, right? Or if somebody drops thermal, one drops here, boom, drop saging, right? Like you're like looking up, you're like looking to see who's dropping, how many people are in ship. You're always paying attention to that. And this brings that competitive nature to it, where you're always looking. And now if you drop and somebody else drops with you and you really don't want to contest, boom, immediately switch your direction to like Harvester, right? You're letting everybody else know in the dropship that, oh, nope, I'm going here. You can't come here, right? And a lot of people subconsciously will agree with that. They'll be like, oh, don't go. Somebody took it. You'll hear it happen all the time in all the fucking streamers' chats and everything. We're all going to stop. We don't want to contest you. We're only going to contest you if we really want that spot or we have egos and we're just like, F it, I want to fight today. Overall, I think a lot of this is really, really good. I think it's pretty good.